I'm making this video partly out of frustration at having to explain to people over and over what atheism is and what it is not. The other reason is to try to clarify what I mean, using the imperfect communication methods of the English language. So if I sent you here from a comment section, thanks for commenting. Now please pay close attention to what follows. According to most dictionaries, atheism has two definitions, which can overlap. Sort of. Atheists are people who don't believe that gods are real, but it can also mean those who deny the existence of gods. In my experience, most atheists don't believe that gods are real, but most theists seem to think that most atheists deny the existence or the authority of their God. I don't know if this is an accurate representation of all believers, but it certainly seems to be the case with many Christians who make and comment on videos. This diagram shows four categories of believers and non-believers. It shows that theists and atheists can either be Gnostic or agnostic. Gnostic refers to knowledge and agnostic refers to belief. I'm an agnostic atheist, which means that I don't know if any gods exist, but I don't believe that they do. I'm open to persuasion, but at 39 years and counting I remain unconvinced. Many of my atheistic friends seem to find my lack of conviction that gods aren't real to be odd. To them it seems blindingly obvious that no gods of any kind could exist. I think they're probably right, but I wouldn't bet my life on it. I don't mind admitting that I'm a weak atheist. A lot of theists would describe me as just an agnostic because they assume that the word atheist means that I claim that gods don't exist. I don't do this, and it's important to understand that very few atheists do. Let me clarify this point a bit further. Many atheists claim that the God of the Bible or the Quran don't exist. They tend to feel the same way about ancient Greek, Roman, Egyptian and Norse gods. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that they deny the possibility that something godlike may exist. The problem comes down to definitions. The definitions of gods are so varied that it's almost impossible to rule all of them out. For example, pantheists believe that the universe itself is God. I believe that the universe exists, therefore you could call me a pantheist. The question then is whether the universe can be thought of as an intelligent causal agent. Unfortunately, the word atheist has negative connotations to it which can result in people being shunned by their friends and family, often simply because they don't fully understand what it means. Some people avoid the word altogether and call themselves simply non-believers or agnostics. I think this doesn't help with the confusion. People like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Brian Cox and Bart Ehrman are all technically atheists, but don't like the A word and its perceived negative image. Carl Sagan felt the same way. I do get their point though, insofar as theists are more likely to listen to them if they think they are talking with someone who isn't an atheist, even if they technically are one, because they don't believe gods are real. It baffles me why there is so much hostility towards atheists, especially in America. It seems that a lot of this animosity would evaporate if more people simply understood what atheism is and what it isn't. Many believers seem to think atheism is more than not believing gods are real. For example, they assume that we must believe in evolution. While many of us accept that evolution happens, it's not a requirement of atheism. I often make the point that many believers fully accept evolution too. Millions of seriously devout Christians accept the findings of science regarding the age of the universe and the evolution of living organisms, including human beings. Please see the description for links which prove this point if you don't believe me. But it is possible to either not understand evolution or to disbelieve its validity and still be an atheist. Remember, atheism is a lack of belief or a denial of gods. Atheism literally means non-theist or non-believer in gods. That's it. That's all there is to it. Many believers also insist that we prove that the Big Bang happened. Like evolution, there is no requirement to even understand or have an opinion on the Big Bang. There is also no requirement for us to disprove the existence of gods, unless of course we're making the positive claim that gods don't exist, which very few atheists do. Even Victor Stenger, one of the strongest atheists I know of, only claims to be able to disprove the Abrahamic God and specifically describe gods of other religions, not all gods of all possible descriptions. Like I said before, there are so many different descriptions of what gods are that it would be impossible to disprove all of them. As far as disproving gods is concerned, many of the believers I encounter in the comment section don't seem to understand what the burden of proof is. The same applies to many conspiracy theorists. As far as science and serious scholarship is concerned, it is down to the person making the positive claim, for example, that a particular god such as Yahweh, Vishnu or Allah exists. It's down to them to provide supporting evidence for that claim, and not on the skeptic to disprove it. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And I think it would be fair to say that a supernatural God capable of creating a universe is out of the ordinary. So for those devout believers out there who wish to convince heathens like me that their God is real, you need to bring some serious evidence to the discussion. Ask yourself why you don't believe in Poseidon, and then imagine what it would be like for someone who felt the same way about your God as you do about Poseidon. Really think about it. Pick any god that you don't believe is real, and then try to imagine what it would take to convince you that that god was real, and that the God you have held so dear and close to your heart for so long was just a figment of your imagination. I really encourage you to think this through. If yours is the one true God, then every inquiry you make will only confirm this. If your God is not real, then what have you lost? A delusion. Think about it. If it turned out that the God you worship is not real, then would you not want to know about it? Would you prefer to be kept in the dark and believe in something which is fake? I mentioned this before, but I'm an agnostic or weak atheist. This means that I hold on to the possibility that there might be a God or gods of some sort. For what it's worth, I think that if there is any truth in the mainstream holy books, we have to seriously consider the possibility that the copies of the books we have today are not an accurate representation of what was originally written down. After all, what I know about gods and religion comes from people. People who told me about their personal experiences, and people who tell me that the holy books were inspired or written by gods. While these people may sincerely believe what they are telling me, logic tells me that it is a possibility that they could be wholly or partially mistaken, or attempting to deceive. We know that con men exist. Think how easy it would be to use religion as a way to fleece money out of people. Think about it. If you had no integrity, if you were a smooth talker and made a serious effort to learn about a particular religion, how easy would it be to pretend to be spreading God's word and laughing your way to the bank? I'm not saying that all religious leaders who accept tithes are crooks, but some of them certainly are.